Good morning, everyone. This is Bobby Shades, your gracious host, and this is Bridging Fears. Normally, I come with an intro, but I didn't want to happy-go-lucky it, this topic, which is depression part 2. 4 days of last week, I had a discussion about depression and the perils of having depression. Now, first off, disclaimer, I am not a medical professional in no sense of the word. I'm not going to come off like I have the answer to it all. I have worked in the medical field for a number of years. I've worked alongside of doctors, specialists, surgeons, attendants, and nurses, nurse practitioners, so forth and so on. Okay. So those individuals that are specialists in that can answer a lot of questions or be able to dive into the subject matter. On this end, I just want to touch upon it to bring light to it because it is a very important and it is a very serious subject matter. It's a very serious situation in our society with depression. Now, mind you, I say depression, but it goes into so many. It's not linear. Thank you. An individual told me that it's not linear. It has a lot of tentacles, and it can go into so many different facets. It's not a one-size-fit-all. Have the answer. Even though there are some professionals who do treat it like that. Just give a medication. That'll be the end of that. A dear friend of mine said to me, pertaining to this subject matter, take a respected individual or reading and go with it. But again, you can't contain it. An individual who's going through it or going through some form of it can address it. I cannot, but I will touch on it. The majority of last week's tone and subject matter was pertaining to what took place with Will Smith. And I talked about various celebrities who suffered with some form of depression and mental health, mental disease, anxiety, what have you, to shed light that irregardless of your station, where did this fall? Bottle of water. Your station in life, that one can be afflicted with anything and everything, because we're all human, but it wasn't to showcase so much the celebrities. It was to showcase that a bigger picture behind all of that, kind of like, the show that you used to see on VH1. It was called Behind the Music. You see these individuals who become successful, but then how did they get there? Or any entrepreneur or individual or what have you. But anyway, depression. There are different scenarios that can be created to create depression. It can be triggers of some sort, triggers of from childhood. There are many instances where, childhood trauma or experiences, maybe not all people endured a trauma, but experiences can manifest itself as one gets older and continue to grow and grow and grow and morph into other facets of the mental existence. Let me tell you something very simple, something insanely simple. I'm gonna reveal this about myself. Not to minimize or marginalize the importance and the gravity and the largesse of depression and mental disease or whatever. When I was 6 years old, I sneezed, and a whole bunch of boogers came out. Do you know how traumatic it was for me? That I can still feel that? I can still feel that. That to this day, I normally hold my nose when I sneeze, or I cough sneeze. I don't know if any of you can understand that. But that It did something to me. Now, you take something so simple, so minute, and you give it to an individual who has endured some form of something in whatever capacity, as a child, and how he or she, have to grow up with that. A household, even something as a mother not being very loving, that can be traumatic for some individuals, and where they're like, you were never there, you were never loving, you never showed me love. That, you've heard these stories. Now let's put it to the extreme level. Sexual abuse, rape. These are tough matters. Domestic abuse. I saw years ago, very famous on YouTube, a woman who endured, I don't know how many years, of a man who belittled her, who put her down, and involved his son in the escapade of it. The trauma that she had to go through. The trauma. There's a guy, I have his book. I think he's called The Inmate or the Jail Whisperer. He was, I don't know, wherever he was stationed. He was in the service, Afghanistan, Pakistan, somewhere. And he had gotten injured very, very badly. Very badly. And from that, this is the second time that I heard that, of a story in this respect. And from that, he developed an almost manic anger disposition, in where he just wanted to hurt, maim, kill. It triggered something in his mind. So what he did is he became an individual that would go to inmates who were serial killers or what have you, and he would talk to them. And he would hone all that anger and that energy towards them, not in a angered state, but in a state in where, likewise sees likewise. As they say in the streets, real recognize real. And through his years of doing this, he's not a famous guy or anything like that, but he's somewhat known. He has unearthed many times over murders that have taken place, that the cops may have, the authorities may have been able to arrest the individual, the perpetrator, for a crime, but there were way more behind it. So he used that curse of a mental instability to put it into a positive use. There's a show that used to come on. It's on YouTube. It's called I Survived. And it talks about individuals that have survived some kind of situation, and where they were going to be murdered, or they survived the murder, or a boating accident, plane crash. Whoa, that dude is crazy. He cut off that truck. Thank God that truck had enough power to slow down. That would have been a massive accident right there. Anyway, and it talked about a gentleman who, he too, shell-shocked, what have you, and it created this mental instability. He was constantly depressed, but he was just angry. He went back home to his wife, and he started hitting her and the kids, and pulling out a gun and a knife, and it would just be this rage. Eventually, he shot his wife. She survived, but he killed himself in the process of it. Now that's extreme. That's an extreme amount of danger and anger and what have you. Again, this is a tough subject. I don't know where to go with this, because again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not this linear ability to say this, and this. There's so many facets. An individual who suffers with bipolar, Imagine the depressive state when either, and these are my days in working in 2 different hospitals, as a matter of fact, and where the medication would, have some adverse reactions, and that they adverse reaction to the individual, that they would want to stop it, and then next thing you know, they're going through this I don't know if it's right to say, this bipolar state, in where they're trying to be normal, but there are instances of problems in their mind that they're trying to cope. And I'm trying to be respectful behind this, guys. I'm not trying to just say something just for views or whatever. Just being tired of taking medication and saying, I can do this, and you can't. In some instances, you can't. Or the medication is not strong enough, or it's wearing off, or your body's gotten used to it. Imagine if you're an adult, you're taking care of family, and you're going through your own thing. Imagine taking care of someone who suffers with depression, who suffers with manic instability, with mental health disease, with mental health issues. Imagine that. Imagine an individual, we're in a period of the alpha and the beta and all of this stuff, and these women, they come with a lot of baggage, but you don't know what an individual go through. My daughter had gone away to a wedding some years ago. Midwest. Her best friend. And she said to me, "Puppy, of all the I don't know, 9, 10 bridesmaids or whatever, 5 of them were raped. 1 3 different times, 3 different occasions. Another one repeatedly through the years of her uncle. Another one on a dating app that went left. He just took advantage. Where is he going? Okay, I guess I can go here. Thank you. I forget the other 2 others or 3 others. And she said, the way they addressed it was very laissez-faire. Like, oh yeah, I was raped, and and what? Like nothing. Or if a guy is, one of them, they had met up with some other people, and this guy tried to go off with one of the girls who had been molested, raped, what have you. That she was okay because whatever happened, because I guess in her mind, look how this triggered. In her mind, she'd be all right with it. Again, getting back to the alpha, beta, and all of that stuff, we're in this period of that constant talk, and no disrespect to that, for those individuals that discuss that. All these women, they have, a lot of issues, and they come with a lot of baggage, and this and that and the third, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. There are the amount of hidden situations in a person's life. We all come with some kind of baggage. We all come with some kind of trauma. A mother who wasn't there, or a mother who favored a child, the child over another child, or a father who wasn't there, or a child who was privy to so much domestic imbalance, privy to that where they shouldn't have been. Triggers, childhood traumas, incidences, experiences. Even those born to a crack addict. I was ready to say crackhead. I didn't want to be disrespectful. A crack addict. And what is in that child's system? What is inside of their system? Recently, 2020 did an expose on a family. I think it was like 9 kids or something like that. And this husband and wife, they both work for the aerospace industry. And they kept those kids hostage. They would beat those kids, and they would chain those kids. The young lady who escaped, because she was able to get access to a cell phone and see the world, see a Justin Bieber, see kids her age having fun. She was able to escape. And I remember the officer, when you know, he came because she called. Her language was that of he couldn't even explain it. Her language was off because she couldn't speak well, because they were not, they weren't, she was socially inept. And dating, and her sister, and they want love, they want a husband, they want this, but the trauma behind how to be able to function in that environment, in that condition, in that space, when one is coming from such heartache, the depression, being told that you're not worth it, being annexed out of your own. You know, I remember, anyone who knows me knows I speak in movies and music. Movie that I saw, John Travolta. And mind you, when I bring up these give this example, I'm not talking about it in the sense of, oh, I'm bringing up a movie, and marginalizing the severity of this situation at all. But I try to show an example. It's called The General's Wife with John Travolta. And he was investigating the murder on the grounds of a military base or what have you. And I never forgot the end of the scene. He found out who the killer was, and he says the worst thing that you can do to a person is to make them feel invisible while you're with them. Imagine going through that. Imagine going through a situation in where for a number of years you were considered less than. Now imagine a person who goes through that and is beaten behind that. How many kids that we have seen who fall through the cracks? And they end up growing up in this depressive state, trying to cope, trying to exist in society. Hell, the pandemic. How many doctors killed themselves because of the insurmountable death that was around them? Constantly trying to save the life, running to this bed, running to that bed, trying to keep yourself protected. An invisible, you couldn't see it, but you know it was there. Deadly disease killing off hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And doctors, professionals who took an honor, who took an oath, who, from what we may know, are well-suited individuals in society. Yet the depression took their life. Debt. I remember there was a man who, he was so depressed, he killed his whole family himself because he couldn't catch up with his death. The depression that a man and woman go through, trying just to catch up. Just to catch up. The society now is heavy. Imagine living in a neighborhood. Some people become numb to it. Oh yeah, the gunshots, yeah, we hear it all the time. The depression of that. Can't walk outside, can't play, you can't. Being black has a post-war syndrome. True studies. Being black has a post-war syndrome. Some people say, oh, black people are so angry, they're always angry. When society says you're less than a dog, you're less than, constantly watch, constantly threaten, constantly put down. These young kids today, the depression that they go through, their attitude is, well, I ain't got nothing to live, so F it. That's tough. When you're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, up to you 25, and you're so depressed that you just go all out, don't care, because you got nothing to live for. Last week was all about Will Smith. But I was just highlighting a problem, because we see an individual, a man, regardless of his accolades, and regardless of his movies and what, we see a man going through something. It's easy to say it's Jada. It's easy to say that. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe the constant haranguing of their relationship and being displayed, even though he's part of it, to be a good guy, maybe it's just so much, and the pressure and the depression to risk your whole career, your night, and that of your colleagues because you snapped. Hell, it's a show called I Snapped. People who gone through some kind of form of trauma. I guess I can go. And they snapped. How were you able to deal with it, family? How were you able to I don't know. People who know me say you're constantly going, constantly running, constantly going, constantly going, constantly. You don't sit still, you're doing this, you're doing that, you know. Am I depressed? Makes me wonder. Am I going through a depressive state that I have to constantly stay busy? It comes in so many different facets. That's my point. There's no one size fit all. A professional may be able to hone in on something, but what are the tools brought forth to be able to address these matters constantly, consistently? What tools can be brought forth to number one, unearth the core problem, and then address the tentacles that have spread out from that problem? Imagine you're a teenager, youthful individual, and you're going through a depressive state. The mental imbalance of that, the mental instability of that, the mental breakdown, the mental disease. I can bring up a whole host of other terminologies, because it all, they either compound each other, collide with each other, coexist with each other, expand into others. There's so much. Homelessness. There's one thing that has sprung up since the pandemic. The amount of people with mental issues from homelessness, from the homeless situations in our society. In the black and brown communities, it was never discussed. Jokingly, it was a white people thing. They go to the shrink and they do all that. It's heavy in the black and brown communities. It's heavy. It's very heavy. Something that's hardly ever discussed, if I discuss at all. Now, as time and technology and the advancements in medicine and the microscopic honing in on the instability. That's why I said being black has a post-war mental instability, causing depression, causing low self-esteem, causing so much. ADHD. Ooh. Imagine someone who can't focus their the depressive state that will be created from that. My God. Again, I don't have an answer. I just wanted to bring to light. Very serious topic, family. Very serious topic. Very, shut up. Very serious situation. This is not, oh, this is the answer to it all. No, not at all. There's so many facets to it. But I thank those that have reached out to me on the first video on depression to bring to light parts of it for me to be able to discuss this with you guys. I do appreciate it deeply. I really, really do appreciate it. Not the most easiest topic for me to discuss, but more just, again, to bring to light and to ask, how can one address it? How can one move in accordance with having it, or dealing with someone who has it, or recognizing or being told that you may have something that's wrong, that's amiss. And regardless, you know, a man is not supposed to be depressed. A man is a man. Bullshit. If anything, we carry a lot of weight. Sometimes, well, that wouldn't be fair. We carry just as much weight. And in instances, maybe more than a woman, and in many instances, many women more than a man. There are triggers. There are childhood traumas. There are childhood experiences. There are adult experiences. There are so many. They're just being born with an instability that can create that. People around you can create that. Socioeconomic forces can create that. The world at large can create that. Anyway, family, that's all I have for you today. This is one of my longest, if not the longest, this is the longest video I've ever done. Because it just needed to be touched upon. And I didn't want anyone to think that, oh, you're just focusing on the celebrities. No. I brought the celebrities to light to show that depression, mental health issues, doesn't care what color, what creed, what socioeconomic existence that you are in. It doesn't make a difference. You see people who walk around from the outside, they got it together. You just don't know. I said this about a year ago. Reach out to your fellow man or woman, family. Just check on them. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? If you know them well enough, or maybe not, maybe you can see something, or you can hear it in tone, or you can see it in their movement. Is that the answer? Of course not. Does it help? I don't know. But why not give it a try? I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades. This is Bridging Fears. I want you guys to talk about this topic. I want you to share this video. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, family. Talk about this particular topic. It's not an easy topic. Discuss it with other individuals. Discuss it with professionals. Discuss it amongst yourselves, your family, friends. Whatever topic, whatever part of the topic that I discussed or mentioned, maybe you've seen it in someone else or within yourself. Address it. Don't let it go. Don't snap. Don't snap, family. Thank you for riding with me. Let us give thanks and praise that we are 6 feet above ground and not below, and that those in our inner circle are in the same vein. a pleasure riding with you guys. And again, once again, like, share, and subscribe. Again, I don't have all the answers. I don't even think I had an answer. Just wanted to bring this to light, family. See you guys in the next clip.